guessing those are on the back side of these other bolts. I guess the best way to tell is just to stick a screwdriver on one and see if it unscrews or not.
So first is to remove this bulkhead here.
No. Those are metal screws screwed right into the metal. So this whole thing will unscrew at the very outside all the way around. I'm going to take it all out in one piece. Bolts here. What those are bolted into, there's going to be probably two on each side. Those look like factory inserts in the floor.
There's the bulkhead removed. I'm going to take it out all in one piece. Yeah, it sounds almost like Velcro. Let me kind of hear it. Yeah, it's going to be Velcroed. So, it says a star point socket, but we didn't call them that. We call them, give me a minute.
here's the bottom of it. A little bit of sound deadening material, but not too much.
Okay, no holes for the seats. There's a dimple, I think. No. All right, we got a used 3-passenger seat we bought for oh, I don't know, $500 or something, and then we got the factory mounting brackets to bolt into the floor. Now, when you pull the cargo floor up, the tie downs that are put in are actually lined up with the 2 front seat holes on opposite corners, and so we're able to use those holes and the fastening hardware that came with those on the seats on the front row for 2 of them. The one in the center doesn't have a hole, so we'll have to drill a hole there, and then we'll have to drill 3 holes across the back to put bolts, nuts, and washers in. So here's our corner bolt that was already in the floor. All right, and these are nutserts that the partition were hooked to. These are similar with our factory in the frame. There isn't one for the center, so we're going to make sure the center is in position, locked in. We're going to mark this front hole. Okay, and then our hole in the other corner is already given to us by the insert in the floor, so it's lined up. So now we have to take the seat off of the mounts so that we can mark the back holes, because we can't get to the hole in the back. See where they are? The holes are down under here. And so we'll use the front holes to line it up, and we can mark the back holes. We've got to take these things off. So we've got to raise this thing up and release it, and then slide it forward. The one in the middle fell off. Now we gotta get the one off the side. Move the seat back. Like so. So let's try to wipe this off a little bit right here. I have to clean this up. And there's our center one. Okay, so there's our front hole, there's our back hole. Okay, there's the front hole and the back hole. Now, we drill some holes.
All right, we're getting ready to start day 2 on the Sprinter van seat installation project.
Okay, today 2. Yesterday, last night, we had our holes marked. for these seat rails. They go in like this. Alright, so we have our holes marked to drill. We're going to use some existing holes in the floor that had these mounting bolts in here like this in the 2 outside holes, and then we'll drill the remaining holes, the 2 in the middle and the 1 at each outside corner. And we have our extra long grade 8 bolts. I'm using 7/16 hardware. Everywhere it's larger than the hardware that comes from the factory, so I'm sure it'll be quite strong enough. These holes here are going to drill down through the hollow frame member under there, and so it has to be extra long. You have to drill through the floor and then drill through another layer to get your bolt all the way through. And there'll be 2 holes like that. The 2 in the center, we'll use sharp bolts to hold the center rail in. And we're going to clean this up, vacuum this all out. We're going to drill all these holes and get this stuff set up. And then we'll cut our notches in the floor so that we'll put the floor back in, drop these into the notches in the floor, and bolt it all together. So that's what we're going to be doing.
So we drilled some little pilot holes first.
We are we're lowering down the DEF tank a little bit because we're going to be coming out really close to it on the back corner when we come through this frame member. This is the frame member that the bolts are going through, this member here. And for my measurements, that bolt's going to be right about in here someplace. So I'm going to lower this tank down a little bit to make sure we don't poke a hole in it. And then we'll drill this hole the rest of the way in. Yeah. I knew it was good. Okay. Our hole up top is just a little bit forward of this hole here, coming through the floor. And so you can see the light shining on my fingernail from up inside the hole. We got a light up there shining down. It's not shining through here much, but we're going to reach a wrench with a nut, the washer assembly, up through this hole when it comes time to bolt it on this side. But you can see where the fuel tank is here. It's directly below the frame. We have it lowered a little bit while we're working here, and then we'll pull it back up tight, but it sits flush on the frame. So what I recommend for this, which we couldn't find within a reasonable radius around us, are a fastener called a riv nut that you put in a hole that you drill through metal, It has a center part that screws in, an outside part that screws down, and it actually works like a pop rivet, and it puts this insert in like this. We couldn't find these anywhere around us at any of the hardware stores or any of the automotive stores and all that, so we're having to use standard grade 8 bolts, washers and nuts like that. But I would recommend riv nuts, because you can put those in here and make this a much quicker, easier job and be done with it. So our next phase is to actually cut out our floor panels so that we can lay these mounts in and match up with our holes that we have in the floor. All right, and so you want to take special care to do that. Just use your mount for a pattern. You know, measure the hole distance, lay it on there, mark your hole, make sure it's square, and we're going to cut our 3 slots in the floor, and that's what's next.
We're going to quick add some insulation to the bottom before we put that panel back. Just got some of the bubble foil in here.
In a few places. It's kind of cold for it right now, but once this is all squashed into place, I believe it'll set up just fine. There's the hole. That's up. That's actually up quite a bit. This is how you get it up in the frame, is you use contact cement or RTV or something, and you glue the whole thing together. The washer, the lock washer, and the nut, and then kind of tack it into your wrench, and you can stick it up in the frame and hold it against the bottom of the bolt and get it started. Big trick. Yeah.
I can't tell. It feels like maybe. Let me keep going a little bit.
You might have to try a different angle a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's going to need, looks more like 3 of the big washers, maybe one of these. There we go.
Because of the foil wrap, bubble foil insulation underneath the floor, it's raised it up a little bit, putting washers to make up for that gap. And we did put 2 washers under all of these, plus if it needed those. Those are the pre-drilled holes, so they didn't need them. These are all in.
Okay,
I'm just
now we still got-
finishing putting the floor back. The end of day 2. It's dark out again. Actually, it's not really that late. It's 5:30, but wintertime it gets dark early. But we're just replacing the floor, and then we should be able to put the seat, clip right in there. Alright, we have it all done and ready. We're going to clip in the seat now.
to go forward a bit.
And there we go, the seat is installed. And make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and stay tuned, as in our next video we're going to be doing some general van maintenance.